Piobaireachd is the classical music of the national instrument of Scotland, the great Highland Bagpipe. Most Piobaireachd are at least 200 years old, and many are older. The tradition is still a living one, since a great deal depends upon teaching by a vocal method. Pipers, by and large, learn mostly by direct personal tuition from older players, and the chain of teacher and pupil can be traced back without a break to the old masters. In this videotape, piping master Jim McIntosh will teach his wife Joyce McIntosh a selection of Piobaireachd tunes.
Well, Joyce, you would like to learn to play Piobaireachd, and we'll have our first lesson today. Piobaireachd, as you know, is the classical music of the bagpipe, and it's totally different to the other forms of music that you're acquainted with, such as marches, trespées, reels, etc., where you've normally played them in a band and you've barked to time to them and you've had a bass drum to keep a beat, etc. In Piobaireachd, we play from the heart, not from the feet. And I don't want ever to see you or hear you beat your foot while we're playing Piobaireachd. Piobaireachd is constructed with an urlar or theme and variations that are taken from the theme. There are also movements played in Piobaireachd that are not played in other forms of light music. And we'll start with this small piece of music that I've chosen here. It's Struan Robertson's Salute. It's quite a simple piece, and it'll allow us to get introduced to the different movements, etc., and the technique of playing Piobaireachd. Now I'll just start with the music here, and we'll read along the line, Joyce, and you'll see that if we go into the middle of bar 1 here, we have a symbol that looks like a doubling on E, and that is in fact a cadence. We don't have cadences in marches, trespées and reels, but in Piobaireachd we have cadences. Now this is really played with a G grace note on E, the same as the grace note on E that we would start the bar with. The reason it's written as a symbol here is that for some reason this put bar lines into Piobaireachd and they have to give notes values. And this takes the grace note on E out of the time signature, which is rather confusing, because when we go to play the music, we're going to play this just the same as we play the one that is in the time signature. So this here, this grace note on E would be played as Ceol Mor, Ceol, just a grace note on E, Ceol Mor. If we progress along in the same bar here, you'll see that we have a TR over a D. And in all the music that we have in Piobaireachd, any pieces that you're learning, at the bottom of your sheet, you'll always have an abbreviation chart that will explain those things to you. Now this one here is the TR over D, is the same D throw that you would use in light music. This is one of the movements that you will still make use of. Now if we continue along the line, we'll see that in the middle of bar 3, that we have the same cadence, and it's played the same way, just a grace note on E. We progress along here into the last bar of the tune, and you'll see something here that's just a jumble of grace notes. It probably is confusing you at this point. Now that's a Piobaireachd birl, or Eilach, Eolach is just a Gaelic word that's descriptive of the sound that we try to achieve when playing the movement. And this is just a D grace note that's added to a normal burl. I'll play this one just to let you hear what it would sound like. Would you like to try that one, Joyce? Now that's quite good. That's about what I would expect from all the students that I get the first time on Piobaireachd. Now what you're doing wrong in the movement here is that you're breaking the movement and you're pausing on the low A here. Now there's no pause. Now I want you to watch my fingers and see the way I'm achieving this sound. See? I'm bringing the two fingers down and completing the burl line from the D grace note. There's no... That's wrong. There's no pause before the burl. Then the G grace note on E is added. Just try that again, Joyce, please. Again. That's good. That's good. That's a movement. That's what we're playing here in the music. Now I'd like you just to start and play the first line of the music here and just follow my pencil for the timing. Now, as I said already, don't measure notes out by dots or cuts, etc. in here. Watch the pencil all the time. I'll also at times just sing to you, and that's really to give you the timing. So we'll just start from here now. No. Now you see what you did here was you played she-o, she-o. As I said to you when I was explaining this at the start of the lesson, this E that's in the cadence here is timed the same as the one that's at the beginning of your line. So it would be Struan, she'll yo, not she-o. See? Give it its full value. That's it. Okay, let's start over again now, Joyce. That's good. That's good. Let's do that once more. Now, don't be frightened to cut your cut notes. One of the biggest faults with all young players in Piobaireachd is the reluctance to cut notes. Now, there's two ways to cut a note, and we want to cut it rhythmically. So you want to play Ceol Mor, not Ceol Mor. The first way is correct. Ceol Mor. Okay, let's start again now. Ceol Mor, Ceol Mor, shai sho, Ceol Mor, Ceol Mor, Ceol Mor. That's very good, Joyce. You're a quick learner. Now we'll go on to the second line here, and you see the first thing we're going to do is a thumb grace note on high G. Now In pibroch, we play all the high G movements with the middle finger on. This is your position here for the high G.
And you do that.
Now, the reason we play that high G in pibroch is probably that the old way of playing high A was this. So the way I was taught to start was the high A was this, then the high G. And most of the top hand movements in pibroch are played and finished with this high G finger on, and it's difficult to play a movement. So it's played. So it's convenient to have this high G, this middle finger on, and playing the high G movement. So you'll always play your high G in pibroch with this finger on. Okay. So if we go along the line here, there's really no other new movements in this piece, and that's the reason I chose this piece for you. I wouldn't burden you with learning too many movements, because the important thing is really the musical interpretation of the piece, and that's what I hope to give you here. So let's just try playing line 2 and 3 now, Joyce. Now start from low A and play your thumb grace note to high G here. Now remember, Joyce, that your middle finger is on in your high G. See? Now that was a poor burl that time. She used to, that's correct, that's it. Very good. That's good, Joyce. That's good. Now I think we'll play over the whole of the ground together, and I'll just sing a little bit with you to give you some of the line endings, etc. So in pibroch, you always show the end of a line and the end of a variation. Unlike in light music where you go from one and you must retain your beat, that's the very opposite in pibroch. I often think that this is where you allow your music to breathe, is at the end of a line or at the end of the variation. Okay? So when you come along here, just listen to the singing and keep with me while I take you back onto your next piece. Okay? So we'll just start from here now, Joyce. Very good. That's good. Now that's the way that this piece of music would be portrayed. Now you can understand really from what this small lesson that you've had that there's no regular beat, etc. in there. You play and you have freedom to express yourself within the music. That was very good. So I think from there, Joyce, we'll go on to the Torlo variation. Now I've just done something here to help you a little bit with this. That in your music, as I said earlier, it's all abbreviated. And this is really for convenience in printing, that this piece of music in the old books would take up 4 pages, where we have it here on half a page. And as I say, the abbreviations are all there, and in a way it can be a benefit in memorizing the tune, but at this stage it's of no benefit at all, and it can be confusing. But in your music, you only have this note, this E, with a symbol below it, this A with a symbol below it, etc. Now, on each of those movements, you're being asked to play a G grace note and a Torlo. And I've written the variation out here for you in full to let you see what it is. Now, let's just look at the music. See? All you have here is your E with that symbol below there. You're going to play a G grace note and a Torlo, a G grace note and a Torlo, and a G grace note and a Torlo. Okay?
So in every place that T is, you play a G grace note in front of it?
That's correct. Now, of course, when you play it on a high G, etc., or on an F after a high A, you can't play G grace notes, but we'll come to that in a minute. So let's just go over the singling here of the music. Here we are here now. Just... That was a poor Torlo movement you played there, Joyce. You're overlapping your D and D grace note. With the result, you're missing out this low G one. So just take a little more time. Be sure that you complete your D grace note before you play your E one. Again, that was a poor one. That's correct. That's it. Now all you're doing here is playing a Torlo and finishing on low G. You're not going to come up to low A with your E grace note. She. That's correct. Good. Now there's 3 different ways of interpreting this variation in timing. And I've chosen this way because it's the most natural way for you to play at this stage. If I was giving you any of the other 2 alternative ways of playing it, this is the way you would want to fall back into doing. All young students in Piobaireachd feel that this is a natural way to do it. It's acceptable in this tune. On other tunes it could be poor technique, but I've chosen this method of playing it.
How do you know which one you're allowed to?
Well, your teacher would consult you on that. This is not something that you yourself make up your mind from reading a book. The book only gives you the notes to play. It doesn't tell you the timing, really. The other ways of playing this would be she bradunta, sho bradunta, she bradunta, which is more difficult. Then another way of playing it is even more difficult, which would be she bredun dun sho bredun dun she bredun dun shiro. Those two methods are much more difficult to control than this one that I've given you, and this is equally acceptable. So we're going to play this one. Now, as I say, I've written this variation out here in full for you, and line 2, we'll just try line 2, then we'll go back to the original written piece of music that we're using till I explain something. That's your Piobaireachd and all your movements do. Very good. Now line 3, Joyce. Let's do line 3. Very good. That's very good. And your movements were good there too, Joyce. That's good. Now, the reason I wrote this out like this in full for you is because in our original piece of music that's been abbreviated, you'll see that we have brackets here with a T here, and we also have brackets with a T apostrophe. Now that means really that in this 3 lines here of music that we actually have 2 variations. This is all has to be played over once, and then it has to be played over another time, repeated. The first time we play it over, we're going to play all the brackets with T in it. Now that's what you've done at the moment. When I wrote this out in full, I wrote out the bracket with T, then I wrote this out here. So what we're doing here is we're disregarding all those brackets that I've covered green here, because they're played over when we repeat the tune and we omit the T brackets in. Now, do you understand that? This is always very confusing to young players when they face this music.
Don't play the green the first time.
Don't play the green at all the first time. We're going to play all the brackets that are not green the first time over. Then we'll go back and we play what's called the Torlua doubling. And what's happening then is that where you have the B and the low G here, which is in fact a cadence, we're going to omit the cadences and we're going to substitute a Torlua on the B's. See? And the same along here, you're going to omit the birls and play shum bredunto, a Torlua followed with a D grace note. This is a doubling of this variation. Okay? Right, I think what we'll do is we'll play through the variation in the singling, and then we'll go back and play the doubling, and I'll explain something more to you. Okay? Now remember, you're playing a G grace note and then a Torlua. A G grace note and a Torlua.
This A, is that part of the Torlua?
The A comes after your Torlua. The Torlua movement is simply pom po, but you're playing she, pom po, and sha, pom po. Okay? 1, 2. She, pom po, and sha, and she, bredum, and sha, sho, she. She, bo, and she, at the brio, she. she babo an she at brio she bridon il ye bridon il ye bridon an shai sho she bridon il ye bridon il ye babo an she at brio she bridon il ye bridon il ye bridon an shai sho she bridon an sho bridon an she babo an she at brio. That's very good, Joyce. That's good. Now, we'll proceed now and go on to the doubling of the variation. Now, you probably wonder why a doubling. And you're doubling in all doubling of variations. You're going to lift the tempo of your playing. Now, the way you do that is by taking a little of the value away from your theme notes. Where you've played in your singling, shape done and shoulder done and shape done and shiro. In your doubling, you're going to make that music flow a bit more than that. And you would want to hear this. Shape done and shoulder done and shape done and shabo. Now your movements are not speeded up.
I don't know how to play the turtle faster.
You don't play your turtle faster. All tempos in Piobaireachd are controlled by one thing, the theme note. Cadences don't control tempo. Movements don't control tempo. None of those things have any effect on the tempo, and they shouldn't be used to control or alter tempos. Your theme note controls all tempos. So again, we'll play over now, and we're going to play all the green brackets this time and exclude the T brackets. Okay? And we're going to lift the tempo. So your theme notes are going to be a little shorter. Ready now? 1, 2. Shebredon and shobredon and shebredon and shabobo and shebredon and shobredon and shebobo and shobedanto. Now bring your D grace note in. Shobedanto. Shobedanto. That's correct. That's good. Once more now. Shebedan and shobedan and shebedan and shababo and shebedan and shobedan and shebabo and shobedanto. Good. Shebabo ilye bradan ilye bradan and shababo and shebradan ilye bradan ilye babo and shobedanto. Shebradan ilye bradan ilye bradan and shababo and shebradan and shobradan and shebabo and shobedanto. Good. Now, did you feel a difference in tempo? Yes?
Yeah, we went faster.
That's correct. Now, the reason that the way you achieved that was playing shorter theme notes. Your intermediate notes are all constant. You don't speed those up, you don't speed up your movements. All controlled by the theme note, the body of the theme note. Now that's very good. Now you can see that in your variations here, you're still trying to maintain the theme or song that's in the first part or the urler of your tune. And that's very important in pibroch playing. In poor pibroch playing, you'll hear someone to come along and to play a theme, and then the variations have no relation at all to what's been played in the theme. So you must try and maintain your song throughout. Now we come down on to the next part of the piece here, and you'll see that we have a different symbol here, a C. Now this is called a croonla, or crowning movement. And generally, pibrochs finish either with a croonla or in some occasions with another movement that's called a croonla mach, which is a progression on the croonla movement. Now, this movement here generally puts a fear and death into people, especially young students like yourself, because as you can see on the music here, Joyce, the croonla down here is just a jumble of grace notes. Now it looks very difficult, but in fact it's just an additional grace note on what we played in the torla. Now if you just play a torla to me slowly, pum po, will you just do that please? Pum po.
E.
Start from a low G is where your torla starts from. Come up to low A with your E grace note. Pum po. Again. That's it. Now that's your torla. Now when we play a croonla, all you're going to do there now is add in an F grace note. Pum po ho ve. Pum po ho ve. Just like this. You're playing your torla. Now your croonla is just an additional F grace note, which also gives you another grace note here when you complete it. Will you just try that, Joyce? That's it. Now, be sure that the important thing here is that all the grace notes have to be even. Again, good. Again. That's it. Pum po ho ve. Pum po ho ve. Again. Pum po ho ve. Pum po ho ve. Pum po ho ve. That's it. Now that's what you have to practice in this movement. That's your croonla. That's a croonla movement, and that's the way to practice it slowly. Pum po ho ve. 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 It's built up then rhythmically. Now that is what you're being asked to play anytime you see that C symbol under the theme note. In your torla, you were asked to play a torla movement. You're now going to substitute a croonla movement. Now, regardless of what theme note is before the movement, it always starts on low G. Always start your croonla movement on low G. So if you're playing from high A, E, pum po ho ve, E, pum po ho ve, from the E, A, pum po ho ve, F, A, pum po ho ve, always low G is the first thing you play. Okay? Now in the same way as you were asked to play G grace notes in your torla movement here, you're going to play the G grace notes also on the theme note. Okay? Now this croonla movement, there are 3 different croonla variations or movements that we play in pibroch. This one here is called a croonla prebach, which again is a Gaelic word, And it's descriptive of the motion. It describes it as a rolling motion. There's no stopping. There's no stopping. She, re, o, and sho, re. There's no stopping after a movement. It just rolls on and rolls on. We'll do some of the other two crooner variations in other tunes, and that'll be the reason I'll give you those other pieces, is to introduce you to the three different crooner movements. But this one here is a crooner Brebach. Now let's just try it here slowly, just the way you were playing your movement there. She, pom po ho ve, o an. That's correct. Now you'll notice that on those intermediate notes, the low A and the D, they were played evenly. Now that's always the way that you play a crooner Brebach. Now one of the reasons we're using this piece of music here from the Piobaireachd Society book is that in one of the other books that might be available to you and that you may be inclined to use, the Kilberry book, is that those crooner variations are written differently. They're playing she, pom po ho re, o, and sho. They're cut and timed. And that's not the way to play. So you'll always play those two intermediate notes even. She, pom po ho re, o, and sho, pom po ho re, o, and she. Okay. Is there anything you would like to ask me about this variation that you don't understand, Joyce of the crooner?
How long does it take to be able to play them the right speed?
Well, that's not important, really. The important thing is to practice it slowly and practice all your grace notes evenly.
What should it sound like when it's...
Well, if it's played up to tempo, it would sound like... But what I'm doing will never be achieved at all unless you practice a movement slowly with even grace notes. It must have that ripple effect throughout. Okay? Now I think what we'll do, Joyce, then, is we'll go back to our original sheet of music now, and we'll apply the same principle here as we did in the Tornlia. As I explained earlier, that we have brackets with the green that are played the first time we play over. And then we go back and play the doubling and substitute the other brackets. Okay? Now let's just start. And remember, you're going to play a knee grace note and just play your movement slowly but evenly. She, pom po ho ve, o, and sho.
Where do I play it? An E grace note?
You play a G grace note on your E.
A G grace note on the E.
A G grace note on the E. O, and sho, pom po ho ve, o, and she, pom po ho ve, o, and shai, sho, she, pom po ho ve, o. No, don't be tempted to put a G grace note on the low here. 99% of students that I start on Piobaireachd feel there's not enough grace notes in these movements, and they start substituting ones on low A's where there's none. So beware of that. There's no grace note on the low A after your crooner movement. They're all plain. Just start from here again now, Joyce. She, pom po ho ve, o, and sho, pom po ho ve, o, and she, pom po ho ve, o, and she. That's correct. Just she, pom po ho ve, and she. We'll try that line again, Joyce. bum bo ho ve o an choy, bum bo ho ve o an che, bum bo ho ve o an chai sho, she, bum bo ho ve o an choy, bum bo ho ve o an che, bum bo ho ve o an che, at the brio. Good. That's good. Now your thumb grace note is played the high G with your finger on in the same way now. She, bum bo ho E. Now you're going to go up that she. See, you're going to finish on E, go to low A and then up the high A. She, bum bo ho ve. Bum bo ho ve o il ye. Bum bo ho ve o il ye. Bum bo ho ve o an chai sho. She, bum bo ho ve o il ye. Bum bo ho ve o il ye. Bum bo ho ve o an che at the brio. She, bum bo ho ve o il ye. Bum bo ho ve o il ye. Bum bo ho ve o an chai sho. She, bum bo ho ve o an chai. Bum bo ho ve o an che. Bum bo ho ve o an che at the brio. Now that's very good, Joyce. That's good.
When you're playing come from a high A, you don't, no grace note.
You can't play a high A. You can't play a grace note coming from high A to F. You see, you just play your playing movement,
Okay.
same as up here. That's good. Now, the important thing for you here is to take time with your croonwheel movement. I won't be pushing you on to play fast. It's much more important at this stage that you take everything slowly in that movement, and just the way I'm singing it to you, bum bo ho ve, bum bo ho ve, and develop it that way. Okay? Now, we now come to the doubling of the variation, Joyce, where you're going to substitute all the green brackets now for the C ones. Okay? Now, the same thing applies here. We're going to take a little value away from the theme note and let the variation flow a little bit more. You don't want to hear you speed up your croonless. There's no need for that, or your intermediate notes. Okay? So we just want to hear she, bum bo ho re, o an sho, bum bo ho ve, o an che, bum bo ho ve, o an shai, bum bo ho ve. Okay, let's try that now. She, bum bo ho ve, o an sha, bum bo ho ve, o an she, bum bo ho ve, o an sha. Ve o an che, bum bo ho ve o an chai, bum bo ho ve o an che, bum bo ho ve o an cho, bum bo ho ve o shan. That's it. Again. Che, bum bo ho ve o an chai, bum bo ho ve o an che, bum bo ho ve o an cha, bum bo ho ve o an che, bum bo ho ve o an chai, bum bo ho ve o an che, bum bo ho ve o an choi, bum bo ho ve an shan. Good. Che, bum bo ho ve o il ye, bum bo ho ve o il ye, bum bo ho ve o an chai, bum bo ho ve o an che, bum bo ho ve o il ye, be o il ye, be o ansha, be anshan, she, be o il ye, be o il ye, be o ansha, be o anshe, be o anchai, be o an, be o ansha, be anshan. That's very good, Joyce. Now we would normally finish off our piece if we were competing or giving a recital by going back and playing the first line of the theme. That's just to restore the theme of the song into your performance, and it's much nicer to finish that way than finish on a croon law variation. Okay? So at the end of your tune you would just go back, she, but o and sho, but and shan, she, ruan, she, your, and finish your line nicely.
Just one time.
Just one time sufficient. Yes. Now, is there anything, Joyce, that you're not sure of in what we've done with that?
I don't think.
Now, it takes time. And the important thing, as I says for you, is to practice your movements and to take time with the croon law variation, to practice it all even grace notes. That's most important to get that ripple effect. Now, that's really as much as I can do with you at this stage with this piece of music. The important thing for you now is to memorize the piece. And if I can give you any help and guidance with that at all, it's to ask you just to study the music, and you'll see that there are really only 4 phrases used in this piece. And that's quite normal for Piobaireachd. Some pieces we play maybe last 20 minutes, and we're repeating the same 3 or 4 phrases throughout the whole piece, just in different variations. Now that's really the best way for you to memorize this. It's the easiest, the most natural way is to memorize and play in musical phrases. Now you should take your ground here. She, roan, she'll your bray. That shouldn't take you long to memorize that little phrase, that small tune. And if you look at your next phrase now, it's repeated in 1, 2, it's repeated in 3 lines. Your next phrase is the same as the one that's phrase 1. Okay? And you have another one here, the 4th one, that's repeated there. So you're using 4 phrases. And that continues throughout your variations. The structure doesn't alter in your variations there. You're using the same phrases. So what I ask you to do now, Joyce, is to memorize this piece of music as quickly as you can. Because in Piobaireachd, you only learn to play and portray the piece of music and express it after you've memorized it. And that will be the next part of our lesson. Well, Joyce, I hope you had no problems with your first lesson on Piobaireachd, and it's a few days since we worked on it, and you've come back now with your piece memorized. So I think what we'll do is just play it over, and play the whole tune over, and I'll sing it with you. Now I'll sing strongly to you, because this is really important that you pick up your timing and portrayal of the tune. And oral teaching and oral singing is the most important and successful way for me to transmit this to you. When you're playing, just watch all the little points that we spoke about when we were going over the lesson. Your cadences, cutting your cut notes rhythmically, showing the end of your lines, the end of your variations. I'll try and bring all that out to you. In your Torlo variation, don't overlap your D and E grace note. You must sound 2 low G's in your Torlos. Just try and catch on to the difference in tempo. It's something that you feel rather than see. And that, as I mentioned to you before, comes from the theme note. The same when we go into the crooner variation. Now I'm quite sure that you have some rhythm in your crooner movement, and you'll no longer be playing pum po ho he. I would hope to hear you play pum po ho re, ho to ho re, ho to ho re. So we'll just go through the song. Now, just listen to the song, and any further assistance you can have from my hands, I'll conduct the parts throughout the tune. Okay? 1, 2. Ceol Mor Ceol Mor Shairo Ceol Mor Ceol Mor Ceol Mor Ceol Ceol Mor she Bradan and Shababo and she Bradan and Show Bradan and she Babo and Show Bradando she Bradan and Show Bradan and she Bradan and Shababo and she Bradan and Show Bradan and she Babo and Show Bradando she Bradan ye Bradan ye Bradan and Shababo and she Bradan ye Bradan ye Babo and Show Bradando she Bradan ye Bradan ye Bradan and Shababo and she Bradan and Show Bradan and she Babo and Show Bradando pause she Badabre and Show Badabre and she Badabre and Shy Show she Badabre and Show Badabre and she Badabre and she Badabre she Badabre and Show Badabre and she Badabre and Shy Show she Badabre and Show Badabre and she Badabre and she Badabre she Badabre will ye Badabre will ye Badabre and Shy Show she Badabre will ye Badabre will ye Badabre and she Badabre she Badabre will ye Badabre will ye Badabre and Shy Show she Badabre and Show Badabre and she Badabre and she Badabre she Badabre and Show Badabre and she Badabre and Sha Badabre and she Badabre and Show Badabre and she Badabre and Show Badabre and Chanter Badabre and Show she Badabre and Show Badabre and she Badabre and Sha Badabre and she Badabre and Show Badabre and she Badabre and Show Badabre and Chanter Badabre will ye Badabre will ye Badabre and Sha Badabre and she Badabre will ye Badabre will ye Badabre and Show Badabre and Chanter Badabre will ye Badabre will ye Badabre and Sha Badabre and she Badabre and Show Badabre and she Badabre and Show and Shan she Roan she your dry she you and shy very good, Joyce. That's very good. One thing that I should point out, it's poor technique to pause on the end of croonlets. So on your croonlet variation, go straight off your croonlet, the E at the end of your movement to your next E note. She-ba-da-ba-dee-oh. Don't ever play she-ba-da-ba-dee-oh and sho-ba-da-ba-dee-oh. No pausing. That's poor technique. So don't ever do that. That's very good. Now you should use this recording that you've been taking on your tape recorder of me singing and practice with that all the time. That's most important. That's where, if you're playing over on your practice chanter, play along with that tape. That's invaluable to you to do that. Because the next stage in our lesson, Joyce, is when you play this on the bagpipe to me. And I would hope when you play it on the bagpipe that what I've given you here in song is what you'll produce in the bagpipe. So it's very good, Joyce. Thank you.
Well, Joyce, we've come to the third part of your lesson on Struan Robertson salute. And this is probably the most important part, because this is where you'll get the interpretation and timing of the tune. And this recording here is invaluable to you. And any time that you should just turn off the sound and play your bagpipes to my conducting. And that way you'll always have the correct interpretation of the tune. Now I want you to blow up your bagpipe on E and just stay with me throughout the tune. Don't take your eyes off my hands. Okay? Off we go and just blow up on E.
Well, Joyce, we'll start on a second tune here, and I've chosen Glengarry's Lament, which again is quite a simple piece. As you'll see from the music here that I've marked, we only have 3 musical phrases in this piece that are repeated throughout. But there are 1 or 2 small differences. In the ground, we're going to have a full cadence in this tune. This, to start with here, is what you played in your first piece, Struan Robertson Salute, the half cadence. But when we go along here in the piece, we're going to play one that looks like a C doubling, which is a full cadence. So I'll explain that one to you. That's a new movement for you in this one. Now, the other one that you have here is a TR over C. And if you look at your abbreviation chart down here, you'll see that that's just a plain C to C grip, etc. Now, the TR over B is the same grip from A to B, which is, they're light music movements which I really don't have to explain to you. But the cadence here on C and the one here on B in the last phrase is a new movement, and I think I should just play this one here to you on C first. Now, the first part of the movement is still the G grace note on E. Then it's followed with a D grace note to C. But the C, the D, as we're sounding a D there, the D grace note has to be crisp and tight. You don't want to hear it. You want. And just try that, Joyce. Now shorten your D grace note a bit more. Just again, that's better. That's correct. That's it. Now that's your cadence to C here. Now the cadence to B is the same sort of thing, but you're going to play something here that you would think was false. Which should sound. Now keep your middle finger on when you're doing this. You see? Just try that one, Joyce. Now shorten your D grace note again. Tune. Keep your middle finger on. Try it again. Shorten it a wee bit more now. That's the idea. That's effect. That's it. Try it yourself now. That's it. That's correct. Now in each of those cadences, you'll see that you come down to a low G grace note before A. Now, that's a themal grace note. Now this is the only grace note that we play really that alters the theme of the song. Generally you play a grace note either to strengthen a note or to interrupt the note and make it 2. But this low G grace note here is known as a themal grace note. So you're going to sound a low G in there. Ceol ya, bo, ceol ya, bo.
So hold on to it for a long
Not
time?
too long. No, don't stop the rhythmic flow of your tune to do it. Ceol ya, bro. But you are sounding a low G. Now, in your music here, the way this is abbreviated, you'll see that at the end of each line it says play 3 times. Incidentally, where we took Struan Robertson from this Piobaireachd Society collection, we're taking this tune, Glengarry's Lament, from the Kilberry book. And they do things a little bit differently. So we're going to play this. There's actually 3 lines of music in here. Now you're going to play this phrase A, repeat the phrase A, and then phrase C. Then A, B, C, then A and C. Throughout the tune. Throughout the whole piece, that will be the sequence of your phrases. you'll see up here it says 664, you see? And I've written A in here, B and C. Or I've coloured them also to show the different phrases. So if you just remember it, we're playing A, C, A, B, C, and A, C. It's a good idea for you to write on your music just that A, C, A, B, C, and A, C, because that's the sequence of your phrases throughout. Okay? Well, I think we'll try playing this one over now. Joyce, you've already done one tune and done very well on it. So we'll try this one here. And again, if you just watch my pencil for the timing and stay with it. Okay? 1, 2. What you have to practice here, Joyce, are your cadences. You're still making your D grace note just a little bit large. It's what I would describe as a sloppy movement. And all your movements in P-Brow should be crisp and neat, not sloppy. So you should really work on this one and get your grace notes, as I say, a little bit cleaner than that. Now you understand that when you come up here in this from C to E, that all you're going to do from there on is play a G grace note on E for your cadence. That was quite good. Now you see, this is a totally different piece of music from Struan Robertson's Salute. You have to portray sadness in this piece. That's what's required in the piece. This was first played. It's quite a recent composition actually. It was a 19th century composition, and it was first performed by 5 pipers playing at the graveside of the chief when they played this piece. So you have the freedom to portray this with sadness. Is there anything about any problems about the ground or anything I can explain more to you, John?
No.
No, you've done most of that in your other tune. You see, your other one. Now, this first variation here is totally different, and this will take a little bit of time for you in practice. Now, you'll notice that it has a time signature of 2-4 here, the same as the ground has. Now, it's actually a 4-4 phrase. So when we come down to this variation here, we're going to forget about this bar line in here, because if you think of your ground, Ceol Mor this first variation then should really give you the theme. in any of those types of pibrochs where you have a variation similar to this, it's generally the theme notes of your theme that are in it with a double up of grace notes. Now, the sequence of the grace notes, G, E, is something that you'll take a little bit of time with. And I just want you to try doing this slowly. Just show, run-ta, run-ti, run-ta, run-to, run-ta, run-ti, run-ta, run-ta, run-ti, run-ti, run-ta, run-to. You understand we're doing the same sequence of phrases. A, C. Would you like to try this, Joyce? Just slowly now. Now that was quite good. You had the sequence of grace notes correct, and that takes it's unusual for you, as you don't do that in light music. But what we have to try to do here now is to rob everything from the cut note and give it to the dotted note. And we want the way it's written here, we would rather like to have an effect where you're jumping from this note quickly onto that one, and quickly from this one to that one. So the effect that we're looking for is this. Oh, run-ta, run-ti, run-ta, run-to, run-ta, run-ti, run-ta, run-ta, run-ti, run-ti, run-ta, run-to. Your short note, cut. And rob it and give it all to the dotted note. So we'll try that once more. Sho, shanta, shanti, shanta, shanto, shanta, shanti, shanta, shanta, shanti, shanti, shanta, shanto, shanta, shanti, shanta, shanta, shanti, shanta, 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 roe, rante, ranta, shanto, ranta, rante, ranta, ranta, rante, rante, ranta, ranto. That was good. Now, that can still be improved on yet by just cutting your cut notes a little bit more. We'll come on to another aspect of this after you've memorised the tune. But the important thing is to memorise the grace note and the correct grace note in there, and try as much as possible to cut your cut notes onto your theme note. Oh, run-tung, run-ting, as sharp as that. Okay. Is there anything you'd like to ask me about that?
Yeah, why is the ground written in 3/4? And
Well,
why do they change the time signature?
well, that can happen in pibroch, but quite often, as I've mentioned to you, or I may have talked to you in some other classes before, there's been no successful way to write the music down in manuscript here. And the Kilberry book and the Pibroch Society book differ at times in the way they write the music out. And in many, many cases, it's not written out the way we interpret the tune. And that's why it's important for you to listen to the song.
Don't really pay attention to the time signature.
Don't play too much. Your teacher should tell you the time signature of the tune and how to portray it. Yeah? And as I say, when we go down onto this variation here, you see there's no way you can play it in 2/4 time and express it properly. But when you memorise this, I'll progress a little bit further on this with you. Now, here you have a doubling of a variation, the same as you had in your last tune. And I've written this 2 bars out here fully, because in the book you'll notice it only writes out 2 bars and has etc. And you're supposed to pick this up from here. But to help you at this stage, I've written this out in full for you. Now, in the same way as we played a doubling to your Torlu and crooner variation in your last piece, we're going to do the same here. We're going to take a little bit from your theme note and lift the tempo. So where you were playing this one here, you're now going to play and that variation is giving you the simple theme of your ground. That is your theme. When you come on to your next variations, that's still going to be your theme. So we'll try this variation here. Now all you're doing here is doubling up on your theme notes. You're taking all the low A's away from your E's, C's, etc., and doubling up on your theme note. Same sequence of your phrases. So we'll try this variation now. 1, 2. You have to lift that a wee bit more, Joyce. That's not quick enough. Once more now. That's it. Now, you can see that that's quite difficult for you to do. You think in light music that you're moving your fingers quickly, but in Piobaireachd, many times you have to play and cut much quicker, and this is an instance. You want those short notes to be as short as you can possibly make them. That's the effect you're looking for. So you really have to sit down and practice getting the sequence of grace notes and cutting your cut notes to get that. So that's good. Now your Torlu variation, if you remember when we were doing your last tune, we had an abbreviation here that was where you had a T, it was a grace note and a Torlu. Now we're doing the same thing here, but this tune now, as you can see, has a different Torlu and a different crooner variation. It's what we would term a regular Torlu and a regular crooner. There's no intermediate notes. Now we're going to do the very opposite of what you did in Struan, Robertson Salute. Because if you remember, I said that I would teach you that variation in a way that you would feel natural about playing it, where you were pausing after your Torlu. In a regular Torlu and a regular crooner, you don't ever pause. You go right from your Torlu onto your theme note. So we're going to play here. Then we're going to play this bracket here, which is your Torlu 1. See? Your cadence. You understand with your music here, it's quite confusing. You have this small bracket with a T, which means you're going to play a Torlu on this one in the singlet. You have a bracket here with a crooner that you're going to disregard here. The same along here. That's following the same pattern as you did in your last tune. So I'll point you through the variation. But we're going to play now a G grace note and a Torlu, a G grace note and a Torlu, a G grace note and a Torlu, and going on to this cadence. Okay? Let's just try that out. Slowly. Now cadence. Now, you see how you're pausing on the end of your tornado? I was away on to the next note before you. Well, I want you to try and cut your end of your tornado. See, shum, ba-dun-da. We'll just try that once more now. Shum, ba-dun-da. Cut more yet. Shum, ba-dun-da, ba-dun-dee, ba-dun, shill, yai, bro. Again now. Shum, ba-dun-da, ba-dun-dee, ba-dun, shill, yai, bro. Sha, ba-dun-dee, ba-dun-dee, ba-dun, shill, yai, bro. That's quite good. You still have to cut the end of your tornado, but you'll find that just a little bit difficult to do at this stage. But the effect you want from that is this. See? We'll try it.
Sounds like you have to play the twirler really fast.
Well, the tornado has, I said that, no sloppy movements.
Perfect.
We want a neat tornado with even grace notes in it. So we'll try and do line 2 and 3 and just take a little bit off the end of your tornado now, Joyce. That's good. Now we go on to the doubling of your tornado variation, which is written down here. Now all you're playing here is a tornado, a G grace note and a tornado on all your theme notes. Very good tornado exercise. So now you're going to take a little bit off the value of your theme note here again, as you did in your other doublings. So we'll just try this variation now. Now, grace note, tornado, grace note, tornado, grace note, tornado. Sho, ba-dum-da, ba-dum-dee, ba-dum-da, ba-dum-do, ba-dum-da, ba-dum-dee, ba-dum-da, ba-dum-da, ba-dum-dee, ba-dum-dee, ba-dum-da, ba-dum-do, ba-dum-da, ba-dum-dee, ba-dum-da. Good. That's it. Very good now. Now we go back to this variation, this line here, Joyce. As I said, there's also a crooner variation in here. And this time you're going to disregard this bracket with T in it and play the crooner on E. Now, the first tune that we did, as I said, was a crooner Brebach, where everything was a rolling, continual motion. This is a regular crooner, which is very opposite to that now. The theme note is a strong note all the way through. The same thing that we applied in the torlua, to not pause on the end of it, applies in the croonlua. It's bad, poor technique to pause on the end of a torlua or a croonlua in Piobaireachd. So we want to go right from the end of your croonlua with a sharp grace note onto your next theme note. Then your cadence. Will we try that now? Now your croonluas were quite good in your last tune. They've progressed a lot. So you should manage to play them a little bit better here now. That's very good, Joyce. Very good. Now we go down to your bottom line, take a little bit off the value of your theme note, and we miss out your cadences. Now you remember I said before, the cadences being omitted don't make any difference to your tempo. It's all your theme note. So that's what we're going to do, a shorter theme note. So we'll try the doubling of your croonlua, Joy. 1, 2. Now, we would normally play the end of a phrase or the end of a line there, Charles. But that's very good. Now, it goes fast, yeah. Well, this, as I say, it's a different tune. Now, although it's a lament, it doesn't mean to say it's all played slowly. You don't have to play slow to portray sadness. That can come from the cutting of your notes also. Is there any points that you're not sure of in that, Joyce? No. It just takes practice. You have to sit down and take time with this variation here. It looks the easiest and it's probably the most difficult for you at this stage.
This part right here, when you finish the croonlua, it has a hold sign over it. Do you get to hold the end of
No, I don't hold. As I say, pay attention to the song and the timing I'm giving you. In this Kilberry book here, it has pauses all the way through the music that's not used. Don't pay any attention to that. Just pay attention to the notes. That's all it's teaching you here. The notes to play. I'll give you the song, the timing of it. Now, that's about all I can do with you on this piece just now, Joyce. again, as with the first one, if you could memorize this, we'll come back and we'll go over it. And I'll then talk a little bit more about progression on this tune, on 4/4 phrasing. Okay? Thank you, John. Well, Joyce, you've had your first lesson on Glengarry's Lament and you've memorised the piece. So we'll do as we did in your first song. We'll play together and I'll sing strongly to you. And I'll try and progress your 4/4 phrasing a bit in your song. And with that, I mean that we're going to try and put a strong, medium, strong pulse in your phrase. As an example, your first variation will be and strong and medium, strong. And we'll try and do that throughout the song.
So then hold longer when you say strong.
That's correct. That's the only way that we can produce that on the bagpipe, is by cutting and dotting the notes. Okay? We'll just start then. 1, 2. Ceol Mor bro Ceol Mor bro Ancho branta Very good, Jones. That's good. Now, that's a recording we've made for you to practice when you're on your practice chanter. Play to get the feeling, get the song. Try and bring out 4/4 pulses in your phrases. Very good, Jones.
Thank you.
Well, Joyce, this is the third lesson on the second tune we played, Glengarry's Lament. And as we did on the first tune, Struan Robertson Salute, I want you to keep your eyes on my hands throughout and try and follow and pick up all the timing. And in particular, try and pick up the pulsing and the 4/4 phrases and the variations. So we'll take it from there and just blow up on E. Now that was very good, Joyce. Now that's 2 lessons on 2 simple pieces of Piobaireachd, taught in the oral manner. And it's most important that in your practice chanter work that you listen to the tape and play with it. And when you're playing your bagpipe, you turn down the sound and play to me. Thank you, Joyce.